Here's your daily dose of history. These events happened on May 3rd. In 1469, Niccolò Machiavelli, author of The Prince and the father of modern political science, is born in Florence, Italy. The book is essentially a manual on how to gain and keep power. Machiavelli suggests that ruthlessness is the best approach for a ruler. For example, according to Machiavelli, it is better to be feared than to be loved. The ruler who inspired the title character of The Prince is Cesare Borgia, the illegitimate son of Pope Alexander VI, who vied for control of Italy's papal states. Today, we often refer to amoral, calculating tyrants as Machiavellian. In 1942, the Battle of the Coral Sea begins off the northwest coast of Australia. It is the first major naval battle between U.S. and Japanese forces during World War II. There is no clear winner, but after the devastation suffered at Pearl Harbor and in the Philippines, the U.S. military is happy to have any measure of success against the Japanese war machine. The Battle of the Coral Sea is the first naval battle in history where the ships of the two sides are never within sight of each other. It is rather the planes from the two sides' aircraft carriers that do the damage, underscoring the fact that naval warfare has completely changed. Another important aspect of the Battle of the Coral Sea is that it helps confirm the effectiveness of the U.S. Navy's code-breaking operations, which will be crucial to the American surprise attack on the Japanese fleet at the Battle of Midway just a month later. In 1980, Californian Candy Lightner's 13-year-old daughter Carrie is killed by a drunk driver, prompting her to establish Mothers Against Drunk Driving, or MADD. The number of automobile deaths caused by drunk drivers today is half what it was 40 years ago, thanks in large part to MADD. In 1986, at age 54, Willie Shoemaker becomes the oldest jockey to win the prestigious Kentucky Derby, 31 years after his first Kentucky Derby win. He rides to a thrilling last-to-first victory on the 17-1 long shot, Ferdinand. In 2023, a shirt worn by Argentine soccer legend Diego Maradona sells for $9.3 million. He wore it when he scored his famous Hand of God and Goal of the Century goals in a 2-1 victory over England in the quarterfinals of the 1986 World Cup. The sale breaks a record for the most paid for sports memorabilia. That record had been set in 2022 by a Mickey Mantle baseball card, which sold for $5.4 million. The Maradona shirt was sold by Steve Hodge, a former England player who exchanged jerseys with Maradona in the tunnel after the famous 1986 match and had held onto it for all those years. In fact, it was Hodge's foot that last touched the ball before the Hand of God. These two goals are not only Maradona's most famous, but they may be the two most famous goals in the entire history of the sport. The first one because of the utter craziness of the goal, and Maradona's claim after the game that the goal was scored a little with his head and a little with the hand of God. The second goal, scored 4 minutes later, is renowned because of the absolute brilliance of Maradona as he weaved through defenders to score. For many Argentines, this victory over England felt like revenge. Not for sports, but for the Falklands War a few years earlier. Argentina went on to win the 1986 World Cup. I used to live in Naples, Italy, and Maradona is a cult figure there. He played on the city's professional team for several years. There is not a city that loves soccer more than Naples, and Maradona led them to 2 Italian League championships in 1987 and in 1990. These were the team's only championships until a third that finally came in 2023. When I lived in Naples in 1994, even though Maradona was no longer with the team, he was worshipped almost like a god. There were shrines to him all over the city. In fact, during the 1994 World Cup, most Neapolitans I knew were rooting harder for Argentina than they were for Italy because of their love for Maradona. The city's devotion to Maradona has not dwindled in the past 30 years. In fact, it may have grown. There may not be another city that loves a sports figure the way Naples loves Maradona. I put links to the 2 epic Maradona goals in the description. Also, don't forget to check out Today in History in my Teachers Pay Teachers store. There's a link in the description. Which of these events did you find most interesting? Do you agree that those 2 goals by Maradona are that great? They are. Let me know, though, in the comments. Also, please be sure to like and subscribe. It really does help my channel. And you can find another great Mr. Lewis video here and another one right here. Thanks for watching.